Hello, everybody. Welcome to Frankenstein's podcast, where it's all about the monster. We are a creature feature podcast about monsters and why we love them. I'm Joe Praska, one of your intrepid hosts.
And I'm your other intrepid host, Khalid Hussein.
What's up, Khalid Intrepid today? I love it.
Yeah, we both we intrepid as hell out here.
You forget it a lot.
I do. I have to be reminded of how intrepid I can be.
Well, go and intrepid it up. Can you use
best,
intrepid
you
as a
best
verb?
Believe. I'm going to lean into my
form?
intrepid nature and say yes.
Oh, well, there you go. I guess there you have it. That's our official stance.
Bam.
How's it going, Khalid?
Oh, it's good, man. I'm great. Just doing my thing, living life. I don't know when the last time we talked was, so I don't know what the update would be. But
I mean, for our listeners, it was the last podcast episode is pretty much it, right? I mean, we don't exist outside of this void.
That's true. Yeah. I come howling into existence about 3 seconds before the record light comes on. It's a very odd life.
Good pun, because our last conversation was about werewolves.
Was it?
Yeah, it was the werewolf by night.
If you say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Updates. It rained a bunch. That's like newsworthy in LA.
It's raining here right now, actually.
Okay, but that doesn't mean anything. It's only news if someone from LA says it's raining.
Why is it news in LA?
Because it never rains, and at least like 7 white dudes in every neighborhood step outside and go, "Yeah, we really needed this." No, it was intense though. Actually, like the thing about it is, like, unlike the Midwest where we're from, they're not really built to take anything more than a little bit of rain. So when it storms like it did, like it was like a bona fide just storm for 2 days. Everything floods, everything, and it's like immediate. And then it's like you take into account like the canyons and like the hills and stuff like that, and it's like a real good equation for a mudslide or something to go down. So
damn.
It's like, we're happy to get it, but also happy it's a sporadic thing, because I don't think that we're up to it out here.
Right, that makes sense. How's your pool, by the way? Does your pool flood? Do people on here know that you have a pool, that you're a pool guy now?
I wouldn't know how that would come up. Like,
you're a pool guy, so
yeah, but like a true pool guy doesn't go around announcing it. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I'm not a pool guy, so
yeah, that's true. You're really showing your true colors right now.
Mm-hmm.
Joe's pool guy faux pas aside, yes, I do have a pool. It's fine.
Did it flood?
I don't think it did, no. Although one time when it earthquaked, like it shook so hard that a bunch of the water just splashed out. Like we came outside and it was just like, yeah, it was intense. It was just like everything was just wet, and we were like, what the hell happened?
That's what she said.
Sure.
Well, on that note, we should introduce our guest, Khalid.
Yeah, let's do it.
She's giving me a bad look right now.
Why?
I don't know. It was a good segue, I thought. Thanks. I don't know. It's all right. Our guest needs no introduction, but I will introduce nonetheless. Wife of the podcast, Nicole Praska, is joining us to chat today. Nicole, welcome.
What up, wifey?
Hi.
Love it. The energy is hot.
Just sat
today.
here listening to our pool talk for like 3 minutes here. Just sat. So
yeah, just like everybody else listening to this.
Right. I mean, I guess that's true. It's the true experience. Yeah,
she's just getting that like uncut VIP.
Yeah. So how's it going, Nicole?
Well, I don't know. We were all sick recently, so this is my just had a cold voice. So I'll do my best, but I'll have to, whatever I say tonight is going to be very important, because I'm saving my voice for this. So
poignant.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have to choose my words carefully.
Yeah, so we'll expect a lot of long pauses and like really, concise words, right?
I mean, I'm calling it early. I'm Babe Ruth in it. This might be our most dramatic episode just by virtue of these like pauses.
We'll see.
I'm ready for it.
We shall see.
Anyway, no, I'm glad to be back. It's good to be back on the pod.
Yeah. What have you been up to since the last time you've been here? like I don't live with you.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
I mean, the void, right? The void.
I don't know. We're just doing our thing. I don't know. We're doing a lot of housework. If listeners recall, regular listeners will recall, we moved earlier this year. And so there's just always a project whenever you move to a new house, unless you've had it built from scratch, like inheriting a house. It was always something to do. Nothing like, not like lemony wise, but it's just I don't know. Okay. Just a quick thing. Carpet versus hardwood floors.
I take hardwood floors. They'd win a
Yes,
fight.
thank you.
Easy.
I feel like the older generations are like, oh, millennials don't appreciate nice things, but they're the generations that like covered up all their nice hardwood floors with carpet. It was an elderly couple that lived here before we did, and so there's a lot of carpet all over the house, and there's carpet in the dining room, which is a problem when you have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old, almost 1-year-old. But anyway, so we are trying to. We just moved in.
Are they like home decor snobs? Are they a little snobby about the carpet?
Oh, no. It's just like they throw their food everywhere. The 1-year-old throws his food everywhere, and the 4-year-old can't help but sometimes spill or drop crumbs, and so the carpet's just terrible. So, but there is hardwood underneath. So anyway, we're in the process of trying to move everything off of the floor in like half the house. So basically, unpack or pack back up and like move all the stuff out, so that way we can get the floors refinished. Pull up the carpet and get the floors refinished so we can have nice floors for hopefully the next 20 years or more.
Dang. So you guys are basically moving out of most of the rooms you just moved into.
Yep. Thank you for succinctly saying yes.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. Super pumped.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Other than that, Nicole, have you been doing anything like other podcasts by any chance?
Yeah, I mean, we've been putting out episodes of mine and Joe's podcast, Deep Space Love, a Star Trek podcast. We're two Trekkies, married Trekkies, him and I, exploring love in all its forms throughout the final frontier.
Yeah, we had a couple new episodes, and one including Khalid. So if you're a fan of this podcast, go check that out. It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. I also listened to it aside from being a part of it for the recording. And yeah, it's always great. Not even the ones that don't include me. I can also attest that those are great. So you should check it out, guys. Deep Space Love.
Thank you for that. Yes.
So anyway, Khalid, what are we chatting about today on this podcast?
My. I am so glad you asked, Joe. Today, we are going to talk about the 2022 Zach Cregger film, Barbarian. Can you put like a little like soundbite of like, y'all ready for this? Like when I say that, you can keep this part in too.
Y'all ready for this?
Okay.
And I have a synopsis from our homeboy Google, and it goes a little something like this. A young woman discovers the rental home she booked is already occupied by a stranger. Against her better judgment, she decides to spend the night, but soon discovers there's a lot more to fear than just an unexpected house guest. Ho, ho, ho.
What a monster.
They're creatures of the abstract that live off potential energy.
It's alive!
All right. Wow. All right. That was the synopsis, huh?
Yeah, no, that was a pretty good synopsis compared to some of the other ones we get, you know?
It's
I
decent.
think
Yeah.
It's tricky with something like this where like so much of like the appeal of the movie is like not giving too much away.
Right.
So like I understand that like they only had so much they could say, but I still appreciate like how artfully they dance around it. Like that whole there's a lot more to fear than just an unexpected house guest. Like that to me, like it almost reads like the back of like a Goosebumps book, you know?
Yeah.
Like that, it really, really pulls you in without like spoiling the goods. Like you don't really know whose goose is going to get bumped.
Whose goose is going to get bumped? Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, and I think that we should say at this point, since especially it's a fresh new movie, that there are spoilers moving ahead if you are listening to this. So make sure you've watched Barbarian. It's on HBO Max right now, so you can watch pretty easily if you have HBO. Otherwise, find it somehow. But there's spoilers. Anyway, yeah, that you're right. That synopsis and also the trailers, all of them pretty much really didn't prepare anyone for what to expect with this.
I still haven't seen a trailer.
Oh, well, the trailer sets up just the notion of the sort of the weird, like what Airbnb snafu, and then like a little bit of a strange basement vibes. I feel like the trailer mostly gave you previews for like the first third of the movie.
That's really all you need.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
It's what's best going into this. And
Yeah.
anyway, let's just go. So okay, Nicole, what did you think? Since you're the guest, you go first.
It was great. I think that I remember Khalid was, I mean, it was on our list, I think, but after Khalid first saw it, you were like, what did you say? I think it was like daylight when you walked out of the theater and you were still so like, I don't remember the word you used. Like,
Oh, no. I was like anxious or like mad.
yeah. And so I was like, oh, geez. I was a little bit like apprehensive going into it because I was like, oh man, like it freaked out Khalid. But now I realize that I should adjust what that means in my head.
You get it now, right? It makes more sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we watched it at night, but at home. So then we immediately went to bed, and I think Joe fell asleep before me, and I wasn't like scared, but I was on edge a little bit, like trying to fall asleep. I'm like, go to sleep. Like I wasn't like scared that anything like, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be scared of that.
I think there's a comfort to watching it at home, though. Like, you have to imagine the first time I saw this was in a theater, having no idea what any of this movie was about.
Okay, I'll give you that.
You know? And so, like, it's just like when you're that engrossed, it's like this big screen, and like, you literally, like, aside from plot details, like, knowing as much of the plot as it's willing to give you, you still have no idea what the hell's going on. Like, that first 30 minutes is like, just you're getting put through the grinder, and then like there's a few more times after that like also just kind of like put me over the edge, where like I left the theater just like anxious and like just like mad about like so many scenarios, but we'll get into it.
Yeah. One thing that was nice about watching it at home was that I could have my phone out and live text you all my reactions as we were watching it.
Literally the worst timing for me to take a nap during that, or the best timing, because like I woke up and I just had like a wall of text from you, and it's just like, yep, I know what part you're talking about. Yep. Same thing. And it was amazing. It was awesome. Thank you for that.
You're very welcome. It was a way for me to cope.
This is a movie that'll push buttons, though. It's the kind of thing you want to angry text through a lot of.
I wasn't like angry texting. I was just maybe sometimes I was angry, but
I will not disclose what you messaged or anything out of courtesy, but there's definitely some angry messages in it.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, but it's, I mean, besides like the parts of it that are scary, I mean, I think also one reason that this movie has turned a lot of heads and created a lot of talk is the kind of the comedic elements. Like it's not really put forth as like a black comedy or anything like that, or have a comedic spin, but it's unsurprisingly funny, kind of in the middle there, and that's another like unique aspect to it that I think is interesting. And then also just sort of like the thematic elements that I'm sure we'll get into. Yeah, I'm not gonna say much more than that. So anyway, I'll let you guys give your piece. Although I think we got a little bit of Khalid's thoughts. So why don't you continue?
Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, I did basically hint at it, especially with my enthusiasm to just announcing the name of the movie. I really, really like this movie, especially on rewatch. Just having the benefit of with a movie like this of knowing where it's going and actually getting to just kind of luxuriate in how skillfully it builds tension and executes jokes. Like basically like what you alluded to with how it kind of just abruptly takes a 90-degree turn into comedy for a moment in this. I am blown away by the fact that like the scariest moment in a movie and the funniest moment in a movie this year might have come from one movie and within like literally back-to-back scenes, as far as I'm concerned. Like when we're getting into the spoiler territory here. when it goes from that scene in the tunnel with Bill Skarsgård and Georgina Campbell, like to him getting his head bashed in, to just smash cut to Justin Long just singing this like ridiculous Ricky Ticky song.
I wrote the same scene down. I wrote the same, like, talk about the smash cut. It's such a great like transition.
Here's the thing. I say that that's the scariest moment, and then that's the funniest moment, not just because they're like back to back. Like the tape measure scene, which we will get in depth about, is great. It made me laugh harder for sure. But like when I reflect on like what they did with that juxtaposition of like just mutilated Bill Skarsgård to Justin Long singing in a convertible, like that to me is just like it's too many points all around not to give it the win. So like I we'll get into it, but like man, this movie is so good, and it delivers so much more than I think anybody expected it to. And it was just such a delightful like surprise for like this late in the year for like a movie that could just like wow me, you know? Like I think we were just like so spoiled with Everything Everywhere All at Once, and then boom, like I think that like this and maybe a couple other movies that I'm like at the moment not thinking of like have really just like gone above and beyond. So this is a good year for movies.
Yeah, agreed. It's been like a good like couple of years for horror in particular. It has some really original stuff. Like I think that's what for me like sticks out about this one. Like it's just such an original thing. Like it's hard to compare. I mean, there are definitely influences that you can draw from in it, but it's really hard to like actively compare it to a lot of different things. And just like the tonal shifts that you get, like what you're talking about, but just throughout the whole movie, there's a lot of tonal shifts, but they all kind of work, you know, they work in its favor. Just like a recognition of just like the absurdity of what's going on, but also like the sheer terror at times. And so I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you both. Like I really liked it. I think, yeah, it's definitely one of the better horror films coming out, or one of the better movies in general this year. So I'm with you on that regard. It's both scary, both funny, and just a good time. But I am with you both, like the like kind of anxiety tension element there, like especially in the beginning, the way like you're just like waiting for something to happen. There's so many there's so much like where you're waiting for a jump scare that's drawn out way longer than you would expect. And one thing that I kind of wanted to like bring up, and both of you kind of touched on this, like that kind of intersection between comedy and horror. And I feel like that we've actually been seeing comedians, especially, or like people in comedy world, jump to horror like more lately. Like kind of like with it was like Danny McBride was like one of the producers on the Halloween remake, you know?
Oh
And
yeah, David Gordon Green directed
it. He's directed all three of them, right?
Yeah,
And he
he's
comes from
like
a
the
comedy
Pineapple
background too.
Express, like
Yeah.
Royal Gemstones guy.
And so like the interesting I read it, I think there was an interview with Danny McBride back then when Halloween came out, but he talked about like there's a lot of similarities in like setting up a scare versus setting up a joke. And I think about that sometimes when I see like comedy people like Zach Cregger like taking the jump to like horror, like taking those same kind of skills and setting that up, and like how I like actually like artfully you can really combine comedy and horror so well. And like Sam Raimi too, for example, like one of the kings of that, you know?
Oh yeah, I mean, for me it's like especially if like you're good at comedy to like a degree that could be like classified as camp, like that to me signals a command of tone that extends beyond like whatever like limiting genre somebody wants to apply to you. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you watch some of like the Key and Peele sketches, and it's like they're playing it straight. You
And
know what
Jordan
I
Peele,
mean?
great another example, right? Came from comedy.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, even like White as Kids, you know, like it was very sophomoric, and like I don't stand by a lot of those sketches anymore. Do not co-sign that. But that being said, like it still like showed like hints of this in the same way that Donald Glover, you know,
Yeah.
like we could literally do this all day. Like for me, it's like I think that like when it comes to art and like anybody that like actually like considers themselves like an appreciator of the medium, like they don't like see these genres as like borders or something like that. You know what I mean? Like if the whole point is to like reflect some aspect of life, like people everywhere laugh, you know, there's humor in everything.
Yeah.
That like that's part of it. And if you're really good about it and adept, like you incorporate it in a way that doesn't undermine what you're trying to do, just like Zach Cregger did here. You know what I mean? Like I laughed the hardest I've laughed, and I was terrified when I should have been.
I think that is another thing about comedy and horror is not just like artfully how they are set up and executed, but the emotions themselves and how they're sort of like a mirror to each other, where like horror is like the buildup of, you know, tension and anxiety. I mean, you can build tension in scenes in other ways too, but like, you know, dramatically and emotionally, but like I think like fear and the buildup of fear and anxiety, I think is what I mean. And then like comedy and like laughing is often a release of that tension is I think it's the reason why people like the combination. Like we don't think we consciously know that, but I think emotionally in psychology, that's why it works too.
That's a great point. Yeah. Yeah. When they're done well together, it works really, really well.
Yeah. So okay, so like we've kind of been talking about it, but like the movie is basically like I would say 2 movies, if not 3 movies, is what it feels like.
Yeah,
at
I feel like we
times.
gotta like. I mean, we said the basic synopsis at the beginning, but we should probably like go into like what kind of really happens in this movie real quick here. Like,
Yeah.
so
I
like,
think it's important, to the story.
so we got the Airbnb kind of mishap in the beginning, which is like both. I mean, both works as a setup for a horror movie, but also set up for a rom-com in a sense. You know, like you got that, but then like ultimately what happens is there's discover like craziness under the house, like catacombs and tunnels that, you know, look like torture chambers. And how would we say this, Khalid? Like basically there's a monster down there, right? But and we'll get into what the monster is. We call her the mother. There's more to it. She's not necessarily a monster per se, but is what visually what we would think of as a creature who attacks our characters. But ultimately she wants to she's looking for a baby. She's looking for someone to take care of. And but when she gets mad, she
gets mad.
She gets mad. She gets real mad. And
like,
so we
Hulk mad,
Hulk
like Hulk
mad,
smash mad.
we have that going on, and then we have Justin Long as the property manager or the property owner, who's like a actor who's, you know, dealing with like a sexual assault scandal, and he's a kind of, I mean, he's ultimately like a shitty person, like he's a bad person. We come to realize, but like we follow him as well.
Realize? Okay, we'll get into it.
Yeah, no, you're right. No, come to realize, but like we realize right away. Yes.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, he's a bad person, but we follow him as well, and he's like where a lot of the comedy comes in too. But he also like the interesting thing about this movie is we see the discovery of the tunnel and what's under the house from the perspective of the multiple different characters, and like the tension and the way it's built up and the way it's seen through their eyes is so very different, and that's fascinating to see. So Justin Long discovers it, gets, you know, chased by the monster or the mother as well, and then it goes to kind of combining those two stories where we meet up with the Tess character again, and then it's kind of like a chance to escape and trying to tell the story and get out of those situations. So yeah, it gets wild, and it goes to a lot of different places. So I think that's a decent enough overview of where we're at in the movie. But yeah, I don't know, Khalid, what were you going to say before that?
I guess like for me, what really like my favorite part of the movie is probably always going to be the first 30 minutes. I think that that's just like a masterclass in like tension building and never really knowing what's going to happen in the best way possible. You know what I mean? Like,
Nicole, do you have that? I have it written down too, actually, if you don't have it right with you, but like you mentioned like what Zach Cregger had like kind of based that first 30 minutes off of.
Oh man. Keep talking.
Well, I have it right here. I have it written down,
well
actually,
then,
if you want to read it. I just you're the one who told it to me, but I wrote it down after you told it me. I was going to give it to you.
Okay, if you're just repeating someone else's words, you can speak because I'm saving my voice.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I mean, basically, like, so I found the article that you would reference, and I just kind of copied it from it. But it's an article called "How a Self-Help Book Inspired the Horror Film Barbarian," and it talks about how he was inspired by this nonfiction book called "The Gift of Fear." And there's a section that encourages women to trust their intuition and not ignore the subconscious red flags that arise in like day-to-day interactions with men,
or obvious red flags.
But basically, so Cregger said that after reading this, he sat down to I think he was trying to write a sketch, but he wanted to write a scene with a woman showing up in Airbnb, and he wanted to see how many of those red flags that he could incorporate into one short scene. And so he set up the Airbnb scene where she shows up finding a man that was there, and it was double booked. And yeah, basically he took that scene and he was like, I just want to do more with this. And then like Barbarian was born.
not just any man, Joe. Bill it / Pennywise the clown
Yep.
Skarsgård. Okay? Like, I mean, you pick any Skarsgård for this role and it's going to be creepy, but Bill is maybe at this point the creepiest Skarsgård.
Yeah. He's great. He's great.
I say all of this lovingly. Like,
admiration, yes.
I'm a fan of it. You know what I mean? Like, there's this movie he was in. I think it's called like 9 Lives or something like that. Zazie Beetz is in it too. It's pretty good.
I wanted to see that. Yeah.
Yeah, but like basically, like they all are supposed to play like blank slate, like souls that can or cannot go down to earth depending on like how they spend like 9 days. It's called 9 days. In this like weird plane, and his whole thing is like he's like a sociopath, and it's just like, oh yeah, no, that's you, dude. Like you are really convincing doing that.
Yeah.
And this movie just like takes such good advantage of it, where it's like, okay, so I'm definitely getting creep vibes from him, but he's also still a Skarsgård, so he's not bad to look at, you know? So it's like, there are times when I don't blame what's the main girl's name again?
Tess.
Yeah, I don't blame Tess at times for like almost kind of falling for it, even though, like you said, Joe, like the whole thing is built to be like a series of red flags for a woman that's by herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, like obviously Tess was also great. Like she really obviously carries like the majority of the film. So she's amazing. I just speak to like, it's such a tricky like thing that Bill Skarsgård has to do here. You know what I mean? Like we're entirely in Tess's point of view for that whole beginning portion. So we have no idea what ulterior motives this guy may or may not have. And putting us and it was a smart decision putting us in her shoes as a juxtaposition later to Justin Long, in that like that weird like degree of like helplessness that like comes with like being in a situation that you don't have control over versus like being a guy who like has main character syndrome. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't think anything bad could happen to him because he's the star.
Yeah, that's an interesting
way to put him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, I don't know if like, especially as being guys yourselves, like, especially those first 30 minutes. Like,
we prefer dudes.
Whatever. How exhausting it is to catalog the red flags and decide how to respond to them. It's exhausting. As a woman, I'm just going to tell you that. And I hope that maybe came across to you as dudes.
I just want to say first, thank you for hearing me. And yes, I did hear you, and I agree. It just from what I've heard, it sounds exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that was a cool part of the movie too. Like you said, both of you said, with putting her as the perspective character, like it's making us like actually like viscerally feel that, in the sense like that's the point it's trying to get across, I think.
No, definitely. And obviously, like, I can't speak to like the woman's like perspective on this, so I won't. But like, I've definitely been that guy who's in a situation where like, I don't know like a girl very well, but like I'm trying to be friendly, and like for whatever reason, and I don't say this as like a projecting thing or whatever, like she's uncomfortable just by virtue of like being alone and not knowing who I am. It's like, I could say a million things and it wouldn't put her at ease because she does not know me. You know what I mean? So it's like, in that same way, like Bill Skarsgård is in this situation where like he's on paper doing everything right in terms of like, I'm offering you tea, but I don't blame you for not drinking it. Or like, I'm going to have this wine. Do you want any? Like, it's all a red flag, even if like his intentions are good. And like, that's just like such a tight wire to walk.
Yeah. Well, and like, also though, I mean, I was thinking about it like while you were talking there, but
sorry, I do that a lot.
No, you were talking, it's not exhausting, but towing the line where, you know, when he's pointing out like, oh, I get why you're probably uncomfortable, or like, I can sense that, you know, oh, you didn't want to drink the tea, or you can see me pour the wine and then you'll know it's okay. Like, it's strange to like, if being in that situation where like that person's pointing out to you like what you should be watching for. And so you're like, it's hard to know how to respond to that, because it's like, are you going to offend that person that you don't know their temperament or their mood or who they are at all and how they'll respond to that. Like being like, yeah, you might be a creep, because a lot of men are like, by default, you should not think that I'm a creep. But he's sort of putting that out there. So it's like, is that a trick, or is it because he genuinely understands like the plight of being a woman, and he's trying to like make up for that? I don't know. That's whatever. That's my thought on that.
No, right. No, those are all fair considerations. That's what's like so frustrating about her situation, even before anything genuinely scary happens. You know what I mean? Like, you spend so much of that time just kind of just being like, baby, what is you doing? And it's interesting because it's like that whole idea of like how just a shift in perspective. Like, it's not like world shattering to be like, oh yeah, if you switch out a protagonist, you get a different movie. That's like for everything. But like, what's interesting here is like, it's almost like a demographic shift versus just like on a like singular person level. And so like, for me, it's like, if I try to think about it in that way, like I'm interested in like, what does this story look like with an immigrant? You know what I mean? Like, what does a language barrier add to all of this? And so, but I mean, again, like the movie we got was great. It's just like, that's the kind of like way that like it got my mind spinning on like this idea of perspective. And like, I'm just so much more curious because of this movie, and just a testament to how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah, honestly, that makes me almost feel like you could just like cast like 2 different or 3 different like leads and get slightly different variations or completely different variations of this film.
You can make it into a play and then just have different versions like on the stage.
I mean,
that'd be kind of cool, actually.
For me, what's interesting, like just breaking it down on like a critique level, is that like it seems like, at least to me, the read was like, this is what life is like for white guys specifically, and then women in general. Like, there didn't seem to be, to me at least, like anything like and I get it, Zach Cregger is a white guy, so like he has a lot more to say about that than any specific subset of women, let alone women in general. But I don't know, like, does that make sense?
Yeah, I see what you're trying to say.
Yeah, like I feel like it's more just an examination of just like, in general, like what women experience versus like any specific type of woman and what she would do. Because like, I don't know, like I'll say it, like a couple of times during the movie, I was just like, now what black woman is doing all this? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure they exist, but like on a whole, I think of the black women in my life and like the real things that they also have to like worry about all the time. And like, never in a million years can I imagine most of them, I'll say, like just agreeing to like spend the night with like a random, like any guy, not even a white guy, any guy who just happened to be at what was supposed to be an exclusive Airbnb.
That was like my first comment. My first text was like, oh yeah, well, okay. So I was calling back to, was it the Descent episode that you guys did? And you were like, I just reject this entire premise. I would never find myself in that situation. I would not go into a cave. That is not a thing I do. I don't understand why it's a hobby. I'm just out. And that was my comment when we first started the movie. I was like, I wouldn't go in the door. Turn around, get in my car, and I don't know. Although now that I'm thinking about it, and him being like, you don't want to sleep in your car was pretty, that made sense for sure. But
right, because he doesn't know that she doesn't know what neighborhood she's in, which was a great reveal. That whole cut to the day, and it's like not even a thing you can blame her for. Like, we were in the same like dark outside with her, and we didn't see anything, And like, even rewatching it, like it was like just well done,
It was raining too, right?
For me, it's like, that's like the straw that broke the camel's back. You know what I mean? Like, I think if I'm generous, or like reckless to be more specific, like if I'm in a situation where I'm already sketched out, I give it like a 3 strikes. And like, I don't know what the first 2 strikes were, but seeing that neighborhood in daylight is strike 3 for sure.
Yeah. When she's like, after her interview, and the woman she interviewed with, the documentary maker, was like, oh my God, why are you in that neighborhood? And she was like, it's a cute little house. It's fine.
I love it. It's such a great update on like that. It used to be like a guy in overalls at a gas station or something. And you just be like, you don't want to go up there. And now it's just like this like nice like lady who works in like documentary filmmaking.
Yeah, that trope of that character. Yeah, the warning character.
Exactly.
Yes, that's a
She
great.
should keep the accent though. Like I think if we're going to gentrify that role, then we should at least keep the accent just for like
Yeah.
a little flavor.
Yeah, next movie that Zach Cregger makes, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought that was so funny that was the only
that was
reason
great.
Well, there was a guy in the neighborhood. Was it Andre?
Andre, yeah. Well, Andre.
What?
Are you talking about the scary unhoused guy?
Yeah.
That doesn't count.
Well, he was like kind of doing the warning, like don't go in the house specifically. Yeah, but like there was a different. That's kind of a different role.
All right.
Yeah, but like he's an interesting.
I think
character
he's too much more significant of a character. Like the kind of guy I'm talking about, or the archetype, I guess it could be a woman. It is a woman in this case.
Yeah.
The archetype I'm talking about is like really just like a right there at the beginning to like tell the college kids not to go there.
It's like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I think, right? Where they stop at the creepy gas station and like, oh no, red flags that way kind of thing, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think you had Nicole, you had some points about Andre in this regard too, but like all the male characters are bad, right? Like they're all
okay. I'm gonna stop right there and stop saying that they're bad.
No, I want you to say what you were trying to explain to me. I was trying to set you up for that.
Well, because you guys keep throwing around the word bad, and here's the thing: they're all regular guys. I'm just gonna put it out there, okay? Even Justin Long, which I don't know, he has another name. What's his name?
AJ.
No, it's
not.
It's
AJ.
AJ.
Why did I think Pete?
AJ Gilroy or something?
Oh yeah, AJ. Yeah,
it sounded like a fancy little like stage name, like he did tap dancing or something.
Anyway, they're all regular guys. Okay, so we're just gonna like shades of regular guy. Okay, like I would say the one like really bad dude that you can say is bad and is evil is the original owner of the house.
Frank, right?
Frank, yeah.
Frank.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
all
he's
modern
a
guys,
monster.
A complete monster.
I don't know. They're just kind of like flavors of guy.
No, I hear what you're saying, and I agree, and I will even like agree with about AJ being a regular guy in terms of like these are the people that you realistically every day run the risk of coming across. You know, whether it's like a careless person or actually like straight up capital R rapist or like just like your Bill Skarsgårds. You know what I mean? Like
I don't run into Bill Skarsgårds, but okay.
Oh, do you not? Do you not? I mean, it's not that big a deal where I'm at. Like, what neighborhood of LA do you live in?
Yeah, Bill Skarsgård does not come out to the Midwest.
Oh, he's always in Van Nuys. Yeah, it's there's a plumbing shop he likes down the street. I'll stop this bit. Yeah, no, no, I do agree with you though. I think it's like. What I like about how Zach Cregger like shows like toxic masculinity is that it's not like it's like, yeah, we've got the one guy who is like a genuine like serial killer, like evil, like he would show up as like the axe murderer in any other movie type of thing, like that kind of evil. But then everybody else, like he really leans more into like that banality of evil thing. You know what I mean? Where it's like even if that cop, when Tess comes up to him and is like frantically telling him all of this, even if he thought she was an unhoused person and maybe was saying some weird things, like how do you not like at the very least like just like get a little curious about that? You know what I mean? Like worst case scenario, you like annoyed a dude who for some reason lives in a nicely maintained house on that block. Like best case scenario, he's just solved like the biggest case in Detroit history, probably.
Probably a lot of missing persons cases.
Yeah, but like he just shows like how in like a very banal way, like these kinds of like just shitty people exist and like treat others who may need them at times.
So the thing I think I said to you, Joe, about Andre was, so when they're kind of skipping ahead towards the end of the movie, when him or Tess and AJ go hide in Andre's little hideout with him. And she asks him what keeps the creature or the mother her away from here where he, I guess, lives. And he's like, he doesn't even have an answer. He's like, well, she just doesn't come here. And then literally a second later, she like bursts through the wall behind him and like rips off his arm or something.
Rips off his arm and beats him to death with it.
Yeah.
With his own arm.
Also,
That
Khalid,
is some
Khalid thinks he's
insane
dead. Then,
shit.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I asked later on, is like, do we think Andre's actually dead, or was he just beaten up?
I think his heart stopped from the trauma of having his arm ripped off. Like, I don't think he survived that.
Yeah, that sucked.
So what, I guess like the thing I was saying, I think I said to you was, it does sort of represent a lot of like how like men go through life. They're like, well, nothing bad's ever happened to me, so that's just how it is. I'm fine. Whereas
That's
like
true.
as a woman, I'm always like, what's going to happen to me today? What's going to happen to me today? I don't know. I mean, it's not like an anxiety thing like that, but it's just like, it's always this little voice in the back of my mind. Like I never strut around confidently like I am invincible, but I feel like a lot of men do.
I do think that in general, your point is correct, but specific to your example, you couldn't have picked a worse example of a person whose decision-making skills have led to him like being the unelected sheriff of like that neighborhood and I don't know, just warning people about that house as opposed to doing literally anything else up to and including leaving. You know what I mean? So like for me, it's like at that point, like I don't know if it's because he's a man or if it's like specific to his like very confusing like priorities of like why he thinks that place is safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, it was more in general. Not
No,
like
I agree. I agree in general, and to a degree, it probably applies to this guy. But it's also just like I don't know, like, and I don't want to like speak for like Zach Cregger or like the motivation for the character or anything like that. But like, I mean, he seemed very troubled outside of like the circumstances that they were all in. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't. And I mean, I appreciate that the movie didn't try to like go too far into it or like, God forbid, like try to diagnose this person. But like and maybe I'm projecting some of my experiences in LA of just like typically like the type of people I meet that like make confusing decisions, like staying in an area where you know an underground monster roams, like that to me just speaks of like a condition that would like make you okay with that.
Okay. I mean, the other two exhibit it, but I guess he was kind of like the final straw where it was just like very explicit, where she's like asking him directly, like, why doesn't she come here? And he basically is just like, she just doesn't.
He did explicitly say that they were safe there. He's like, yeah, we were safe here. She doesn't come here. Like he was very confident about that fact.
Did?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah, and I do think that like there probably is some credence. Maybe I'm overthinking it, and you're right, and like that is supposed to be another point to just underscore like that false sense of security that like men tend to have. But I don't know. This does make me think of Nope a little bit more now, and I don't want to spoil it too much because I know that we want to talk about it on the pod at some point eventually. But like just that overhead idea of like either men specifically or humans in general who just like cling to a false sense of security right up until it bites them in the ass
or smashes their head on the wall. Like I just couldn't get over
or rips their arm off.
Like, yeah, going back to the beginning, not beginning, but like when you mentioned Keith gets fucked up in the dungeon or whatever you want to call it, and it was just like,
man, Keith deserved that and so much more.
He did. She's like,
how you gonna be like, oh, you saw a bed in a bucket and that's why we can't stay here anymore? Shut up, dude.
There's an entire I was so mad. That was actually the part I was like probably the most mad, maybe.
When I tell you, like, all she would have had to do was like knock on the window from like that, like from outside. If I saw that, I'd leave. Like, just the look of terror on her there, I would need no further explanation. First of all, what are you doing in the basement? Like, this is an Airbnb. Like, what are you doing down there?
I feel like she did mention camera as well, and I feel like she did. And then he basically is like, it's just a bed in a bucket. Like he kind of like omits the camera when he keeps
purposefully.
Talking about it.
Yep. Yep,
just
I
like,
saw that. Some
like,
Fox News ass, fucking interview points ass. Hated that.
yeah, I was like, no, like that combination of things is terrible. What's wrong with you?
Yo, what pisses me off, and this is obviously like the point of the movie is to piss me off, is like he sees all of that and still goes further into catacombs, my dudes. Like catacombs.
Yeah.
Like if you started in a not place where catacombs should exist and then you see catacombs, that's not a good sign ever, bro. That's bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel. I mean, I don't know. I want to like Tess, but at the same time, like the whole time I was like, just let him go, girl.
She has such a big heart. She like wants to save everybody, but none of them deserve saving.
Nah, see, and that's courtesy biting her in the ass right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
maybe
like
that's the message.
because like the thing is, the movie goes through like
Be
painstaking
nice
way, like
and bite us in the ass.
Yeah.
it shows us like very like deliberate care. Like it's not that she's missing these red flags. Like I think nobody would like this movie if we were just watching a clueless person. It's that she ignores every single red flag in favor of not coming across as like prissy or uptight or the bitchy one. You know what I mean? And I think that's like so clever because it's just like it's literally like in the same way that like masculinity makes us careless to the point of like trapping us in bad scenarios, like being guarded about as a woman, even to the point of like being guarded of like how you're appeared or how you're viewed, how you're perceived. Sure, those are words that I should have picked instead. Like even in the face of all of that, like she's still cognizant of what she's coming across as, and that's what actually bites her in the ass. Like she's literally just damned if she does, damned if she doesn't, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And survive because she's our hero.
I'm sorry, I'll look like a bad person. I will explain it to anybody that will listen. I'll be like, Your Honor, I told him about the bed, the bucket, and the camera. He pretended not to hear about the camera. We went down there. Your Honor, that's when he found the catacombs. And that is when I left him. I do not know what happened after that. I went and called the authorities and I found a motel. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Anybody's guess. He could still be down there. Don't know. Don't care. You found a monster? I'm not surprised.
Are you gonna steer?
Yeah.
We're it's a good conversations, but we should get in the monster soon. But before we get in the monster, Cleet, I know you wanted to talk about the tape measure scene, so you go for it.
We gotta
tape measure. Oh my god, this is for me like the payoff of like in the same way that like I'm like unnecessarily smug about the fact that like we all knew Donald Glover when he was still making dumb YouTube videos. Like there's like a little pride in like us sharing those dumb whitest kids you know sketches. R.I.P. Trevor, by the way. All those whitest kids you know sketches back in the day, and like to see it like pay off like it does in a movie like Barbarian, all to lead to like. So whenever I see the funniest thing in Atlanta that I know Donald Glover was like behind, I immediately think like, oh yeah, like Derek, this is Derek comedy like at its heart. And then it's the same thing with this. Like that tape measure gag was like a great whitest kids you know sketch. You know what I mean? Like, and it keeps going and it's never not funny when he's Googling like about the square footage. And when he finds out like that first post that says that like, no, you can't count a basement in your square footage. Oh, but then this other post says, however, and like, he's like saying it in that way of like, Justin Long is such a good actor and we're so privileged to have him because like he is one of those actors where like you see him talking by himself and you never feel at any point like it's forced. Like he's a very natural, like he did it a lot in like that movie Accepted and like, you know, when he was in everything, you know? So like he's to use it here where he's by himself that whole time. He only has himself and like the comedy of the scenario to like milk, and him and Zach Cregger's directing just like combined to make such a laugh out loud moment. Like, oh, what did you guys think of it?
It was great. Like it was, I mean, we talked about earlier how it was like that tonal shift and like that big like point of view change, like, you know, like a little way in the movie. It's just like, it really amplifies this whole thing. Like it makes it so unique, and that bit is just so funny. Like taking something that we were just so terrified of like 5 minutes ago and just making it something you're just really laughing about. Like the way that the tension works there and how it's like flipped and like and even just perspective shift, like how Tess was seeing it versus how Justin Long is seeing it, or AJ seeing it, I guess, in character. Like that perspective is so interesting, and it's just so funny to follow him, like as he's like just walking with his little tape measure and like saying the numbers out loud, and then he discovers the catacomb part, and he just keeps going.
Excited.
And then he like goes
so excited.
and when he goes past the cages, he's just like, oh fuck, and then keeps going.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
It's so, the delivery is so good.
And it really speaks to like, we had maybe 10 minutes before that with him. You know what I mean? So it really speaks to the writing that like you get to that point, which like, I'm sorry, that's an Austin Powers scene in any other context. You know what I mean? Like it's a full on like Mike Myers hamming it up kind of a scene. And like they somehow make this like what should just be an outlier feels so smooth at that point. And like it just like adds so much more to it when you're thinking about it as like a juxtaposition to like what these same footsteps meant to us like 30 minutes ago when it was like we're going through all this process with Tess, and every inch of the way you're just like, oh God, what's coming? And for him, you're just like, oh my God, like how is this possible?
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
So good. And I want to say the song that he's singing, Ricky Tikki Tavi is what it's called. Did you guys like, I played it with subtitles this time, and like obviously I knew it was coming, so like I could check the lyrics, but like did you guys catch what he was like singing about?
We always watch with captions.
I don't remember off the top of my head though. What was it?
It's really good. So like basically just that second verse is, everybody who read the Jungle Book will know that Ricky Tikki Tavi's a mongoose who kills snakes. When I was a young man, I was led to believe there were organizations to kill my snakes for me, i.e. the church, i.e. the government, i.e. school. But when I got a little older, I learned I had to kill them myself.
Oh, damn.
Does that feel relevant to the movie in any way? That to me like blew my mind when I was like reading it along this time, and I was like, holy shit, like he lays it out for you. You know what I mean? Like it's that idea of like we create these institutions as like an illusion for comfort and like safety, and it's like, yo, at the end of the day, like you could have like 50 schools around you, but if it's you and a mongoose like alone, I don't know what that does for you.
Right. I love that kind of stuff when they like have like something like the soundtrack or like a movie playing in the background that like fits in thematically with the movie you're watching. Like I love that shit. That's awesome, Cleed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we monster it up, you guys?
Yeah. Let's monster.
Okay. So monster in question here in this movie is what we were calling the mother, and I believe I don't know if they refer to her as the mother in the movie itself. But effectively, like she's what we see visually as a creature with like long, scraggly hair, like strange skin, mostly naked, sharp teeth, very, very violent and very quick to anger. And she lives in these catacombs underneath the house. But what we learn is like, so she gets mad, but she wants to take care of something. She wants to be a mother, right? And we see like that parenting video that she watches, and there's some other scenes that talk about that get into that. But ultimately, we find out that she's actually a human. She's a human, and sadly, the product of like years of violence, with like rape and incest from arguably the real monster of the movie, Frank, right? So she's just kind of been stuck down there, and Frank's also down there, like in a bed dying. But she's been, finding people that she wants to either try to adopt as her children. But she's actually played by a man. She's played by actor Matthew Patrick Davis, and so Davis was not. So originally they wanted to put him in a bodysuit with prosthetics added. But instead they actually changed it to the actor himself was essentially naked with just a few applications. Or as he described in an interview, he said, quote, that he was ass out. He had like a little like kind of loincloth that he basically wore. And apparently they're like in some of the scenes where he had to jump, like that would just like blow away. And so like Cregger would have to say like, can you like artfully like have your hand in front of your crotch so like your dick isn't showing, like in these scenes. So like they had to like play around with that. But so there was prosthetics and stuff, but mostly like, I mean, the boobs were not his, of course, but like most, like that was his body. Like it wasn't a suit or anything. And so that's kind of interesting. He did say,
He is so tall. I was just looking at cast photos. I'm sorry, but
he's a
How-
tall. Yeah, he's a very
how
tall.
tall
he
is
doesn't,
he?
like I don't know, like his face doesn't look like he's a tall guy. I don't know if that makes sense. But then like I saw cast,
You got a short face. No, I get it.
and I was like, whoa, that guy's big.
Yeah, he is big. So and ultimately the look, like it did have a headpiece with a wig attached to it, and there were facial prosthetics. But the nose and the mouth were all his. Like that was it. I think there was like teeth prosthetics, but yeah, other than that, he did say that to get into character, he studied like the cases, like the real life cases of feral children, to kind of think of like what it's like to like live outside of society or be raised outside of society without like any of that, like like community or like social upbringing. So that was kind of like the research that he did to going into this character. So I thought that kind of stuff was interesting.
No, that's super interesting. And like for me, it's like I don't know what that would do for me, where it's like I'm functionally naked, but I also have like makeup on to make me look as like hideous as possible.
It's such an interesting like thought to think of like as an actor like doing that.
And I mean, all props to the makeup team, because those prosthetics were appropriately disgusting.
Really, really good. Yeah, really good, and like really realistic looking. He so I have a couple interviews that I'll link in the show notes here with Davis, but he talks about too how he was cast in the movie earlier, and Justin Long was cast a little bit later, and he talks about being a huge Justin Long fan himself, and then like realizing that him and Justin Long were gonna have to do some really weird intimate stuff together, and he was super nervous for it, but like but I guess Justin Long was like awesome about it. Like, okay, I feel like we got to mention like the breastfeeding scene.
Do we?
Yeah,
it's so upsetting.
It was upsetting.
I mean,
it was good though.
Okay, so this is another interesting. I don't know. So before you mentioned that, okay, so AJ, once we could change perspectives, because we know Keith gets his head bashed in, then we go to Justin Long. Justin Long comes to the house, and finally he discovers the mother,
the catacombs.
Yes. And then he somehow ends up in the same little, like, kind of a cell, I guess, down there with Tess. And before we even get to the breastfeeding is the bottle scene, which apparently a lot of people online think is like the most disgusting scene that they've ever seen or something. I don't know. I don't think it's like that. I mean, the hair's gross, but
it's the hair and like how they dress up the bottle, because that thing is like, it just looks like it's been like rolling in dirt for decades.
I mean, yeah, presumably.
But yeah,
I guess just like Tess being, she's just like, you just have to like pretend like drink some, like just this like survival instinct. And he's just like, nope, he'll do anything but that. And
then, I think I think the reason it's visceral to people, or to like most people keep bringing it up, is because like not that many people know what it's like to have your arm ripped off and then like getting beat to death by it. But like everybody knows what like gross warm milk tastes like.
I suppose. I mean, honestly, I wasn't even 100% sure what was supposed to be in the bottle at first. But I don't know. Anyway, I have a lot of questions about what's happening there. Is she like pumping milk? Like, is she just whatever? I'm a breastfeeding mom, so I had a lot of questions. All right. So anyway, but then, okay, yes, then because he refuses the bottle, she tries to give him the boob.
Like, yes, it was an like absurd scene. It was upsetting, but it was absurd. Like,
it's very absurd and like it is funny and like
comedic. Yeah.
Again, like this is like the lottery ticket of having Justin Long in this role.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
that adds a lot.
He does such a good job of like kind of just like curling into that like pathetic little like man baby like mode for that part, and like it all just looks so pathetic. You know what I mean?
He does such a good job of being like upset and distressed, like you say, but also confused, and the confused element adds a lot.
He's a really good man baby.
Yes,
like I think that's what we're all dancing around here. I'll say it. Like he's really good at like just being a baby adult. It's so funny to watch.
Speaking of baby adults, Khalid.
What?
Yikes! Might be your biggest swing yet.
Sometimes bears can act in ways that babies might, although they're adults themselves.
Actually, I have to give that to him.
What? No, what?
Ah.
What does
That's
that
a
last
segue.
part mean? Babies, although they're adults themselves?
Like adult bears sometimes act babyish because they like roll around and do all cute stuff. That's the segue to the
Oh,
four bears test,
okay.
Khalid.
Okay, I get it now. All right, that's not too bad. You saved it.
Yeah.
Cool. Four bears test. If it's your first time listening, a four bears test is kind of what it sounds like, kind of not. It's a dumb little thought experiment where I ask what happens if you switch out the monster in question with four bears. Is it the same movie? Is it a different movie? And yeah, I just ask it because it's dumb and fun, and that's me in a nutshell, baby. So for this one, I honestly didn't think about it until just now. So this is you guys are getting this take hot. That's the crispy cream light is on for this take. Yeah, four bears. She is strong, and it's kind of the descent thing of like if you're in like tight spaces like that, four bears are a huge threat to you. Just even more so than normally, just by virtue of like you have even less places to go. I don't think she's as strong as four bears though. Like I think that the threat that four bears would pose would be even greater.
She ripped Justin Long's face in half.
But I think one bear could do that. I don't think you would need four bears. There's always going to be at least two bears in the background, just like smoking a cigarette.
But do four bears work together to like add to their strength? I don't think so.
Like a bear Voltron? No, those don't exist.
That's what I feel like you're expecting.
No, what? What am I reject the Bear Voltron analysis. I would never spoil the results of the test that way. No. For the record, if anybody's ever curious about where I'm at with that, the bears are bears. They have no affinity for each other, and they are just dropped in a random movie scenario and doing their best. That being said, I think it's a fail because I think four bears would cause way more chaos than that one woman would, even with her dad or how, like, I don't know, assuming that at one point there was like a pack of them, maybe. But we're never told of other children. So I have to assume it's just her for a lot of it. And she's not four bears strong or chaotic. She's at least a little more targeted. I think as soon as Four Bears got out like she did, it would be a different movie entirely because then it's just like neighborhoods full of bears. So yeah, it's a fail.
Interesting. Okay.
What about you guys? I mean, Nikki, I heard your contention with one part of it at least.
I just like to be a contrarian to you.
Fair enough. It's pretty easy. I take very bold and usually wrong stances. So
I feel like she was pretty animal-like, though, I guess. Like feral, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I feel like it's...
Don't get me wrong. If it's four of her versus four bears, I'm paying to watch that fight because I have no idea what's going to happen. But
yeah, I mean, I guess if you're like one monster, four bears, I don't know. It's towing the line, though, for me.
No, yeah. I mean... I think I would say like if it was a 2.5 bear test, I think I would give it to her. But it's the 4 bear test, and that's too many.
It's too many.
It's too many bears, Nikki.
Too many bears.
Nikki, that's too many bears.
Beers or bears?
You heard what I said. That's too many bears.
Bears.
That's too many bears.
Yeah, bears. Say bears, Khalid.
Bears.
Yeah, you said it weird.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah,
we are a charming bunch.
Yeah. Speaking of charming, Khalid.
Thank you, God. I really just threw that one out there for you.
Yeah, I sometimes pick them up when you throw them down. Speaking of charming, Khalid, in this scenario, would you fight or would you flirt your way out of certain doom?
Fight or flirt. First time listening, and this one actually is what it sounds like. Do I fight the monster or flirt with it to survive? Yeah, this is a tough one because flirting would all but guarantee my survival, but just like I gotta be harsh here. Like I think
Oh my
it's
God,
for
are you
this.
gonna be like the rest of the men in the movie? Oh my God.
It's not a physical thing. You know what I mean? Like I think I have said that I would flirt with much more physically like unattractive creatures on this podcast. I don't have the records before me, but let the record show I definitely have. No, it's not that so much as it is probably, I think I said the same thing for The Descent, which obviously this movie has brought up a couple of times. I'm not a catacombs guy. Even taking out the scariness of it all, like it's not my spot. It's not my
Can't cop
thing.
out of this. This is no. I don't accept this. Joe, you know what? I listen to every episode and I listen to your answers to these and I always have poems. And like Joe just
Oh
sits
my
here and
God.
takes it and I'm not gonna take it. You don't get to just opt out. No.
Cop out of what? This is my like test.
No.
What am I cheating at my test? I don't actually. Here's the thing. Like, I'm not being like, ew, yucky to mother. Like, this is entirely like an analytical answer I'm giving. So like this is actually this is if you care to listen, Nikki, this is 1A of my answer because I'm explaining why I wouldn't want to flirt with her and live in that circumstance. But 1B is like also why I would fight her and think I have a chance, which is
Fine,
that
proceed.
she is a easily distractible person as we've seen. From what I can gather, the only education she's ever had is that breastfeeding videotape. And she has really bad eyes. That's why she only comes out at night, because she's been living in a cave her whole life. Like, these are all physical disadvantages that I, as what is presumably at least starting out a captive, like I think that I could outwit and get out of a situation like that. I don't know. I just, don't get me wrong, like it's not going to be quick and I'm probably going to have to suck down some like bottles, but I think eventually, like I think I'm like on that test wave of like she was always going to get out even if Justin Long didn't show up. She was just biding her time and figuring out her circumstance.
Okay, so yeah, you're playing like tests. That's okay.
So you're
Yeah,
starting.
but
You would flirt to start.
Okay.
I mean, for me, it's like when I say flirt, it's like I would advance it because like I would start as a baby because that's what she's making me start as, and I would ingratiate myself to her and like start a relationship so that we're on equal footing if I was going the flirting route, because I would want to be seen. If I'm talking about having a relationship with any monster, the first part is like being an equal, hence the reason why it's always a fight with kaijus. So in this case, I wouldn't flirt, but if I did, I would graduate myself out of the baby role. But I won't because I'm fighting. So I'll stay in the baby role so she underestimates me, and then probably figure out a way to like flash her in the eye long enough to blind her and like incapacitate her, and then just bolt.
You're not flirting. I guess I don't know. In my mind, and for this movie, like flirting, it's not really flirting like trying to
Here's the thing.
literal flirting, but just like play along until
No,
you can escape.
I agree. I agree. Like, of all the movies we've done with monsters, like this is the most like, yeah, it makes sense to flirt. Like flirting almost completely guarantees your survival. But like I may be surviving, but am I living in a catacomb? Like
But the
I'm
point
not.
is to escape. You know what? Whatever. What's your B?
You don't flirt to escape. You flirt to build a long-lasting relationship with a monster.
What is that? Is that how you flirt in real life?
Yeah. I'm like a penguin.
Every flirt is supposed to result in a relationship?
I mean, one of them. What are you confused about here? I'm confused at what you're confused about.
I'm not even wasting my voice on this anymore.
All right, you heard it here, guys. Khalid wins. I am being so mean when you are incapacitated, but that was fun. Yeah, no.
She stuck her tongue out at you.
She what?
She stuck her tongue out at you, just so you know. So she got the last word.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I would fight. Joe, what about you? Are you fighting or flirting with
Really,
this?
this is your
I'm
thing. I'm
curious.
not
I
going to throw
No,
any
answer
I'm
it.
life
curious.
rafts.
I'm
No.
curious. Joe,
Huh?
what's your take here?
Well, I don't really feel like there's much I can add.
I mean, just say fight or flirt, just one word.
I would, in this scenario.
Why are you thinking about it so long?
Yeah, why are you answering this like a politician?
I would flirt. I'm a catacombs guy, so I would flirt.
What does being a catacombs person have to do with any of this?
I like catacombs. We once went into the catacombs in Paris. In those, I thought that was pretty sweet. I liked them. I'm fine staying in the catacombs. So I mean,
I think a setting can
Yeah.
do a lot for a relationship.
I think so
if you're
too.
not happy with where you are, you're not going to be happy with who you're with.
Yeah. If I'm happy there, and I'd be good. So I don't know. I'm fine. I'll flirt. We gotta have different perspectives. I mean, that's the whole point of the movie. So
Fair enough. Yeah. So for the record, the only thing stopping either of us from fighting or flirting with a monster is the catacombs, nothing else.
we just fall on different sides of catacomb issue.
Exactly. And I mean, that's going to happen, like adults grow up and like their priorities drift apart.
Right. Anyway. So there we go. There you have it, everybody.
Yeah, there you have it.
Should we move on to our final segment of the episode?
Let's do it.
All right, folks. Our final segment is a segment like we like to call What the Fandom, in which we each go around and share something that we are interested in, whether that's watching, reading, listening to, playing, what have you. Something that may or may not have anything to do with monsters, but we think that you all listeners might enjoy. So, Khalid, what's the fandom with you today?
Thanks for asking, Joe. My What the Fandom this week is going to be the Roku original film Weird, the Al Yankovic story, starring Daniel Radcliffe, who is just having like the best life. I think we all agree. The movie is great. You know what I mean? If you are a fan of like Walk Hard or Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping, this really just like falls in that tradition of like great like comedy, music, parody biopics. It's scene after scene of like crazy funny stuff. I think that Weird Al, especially for people in our age range and maybe a generation above us even a little bit, have like a real like soft spot in our heart for Weird Al, especially like just being the kind of entertainer that like bridged that gap between like childhood and adulthood of like there's something to like about it on either side. And man, like it's just I think that what I like about it even more than like some of the other parody movies is that it is still to some degree based on like a real awesome great guy, and for this to kind of just be like a capstone to what like is also in a Radcliffe-esque way an amazing fantastic best life. It's great. It's a very touching tribute to a guy where 99% of it is probably made up, but man, it's great. It's so funny. It's on Roku. I have a Roku, so that's how I saw it. I don't know what you do if you don't have a Roku, but I think that Weird Al's on Twitter telling people to pirate it. So however you can watch it, watch it. And yeah, that'll be it for me this week because Joe still got me self-conscious about multiple What the Fandoms.
It's okay. Good. I'm really excited for that movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm excited.
You guys are gonna love it. It's a great, just like Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon movie. Like you're gonna have a good time. Joe, what the fandom with you?
Thanks, Khalid, and thanks for the wind up there. That was pretty good.
You got it.
My fandom this week, I'm going to talk about a book that I recently started. I'm listening to it in audiobook form. The book is called The Library at Mount Char, and it's by author Scott Hawkins. And it's sort of in keeping with the one I had last time. I recommend The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher. It's in line with that sort of weird horror, weird fiction sort of vibe where just kind of dealing with sort of like powers or entities that are just sort of beyond our own like comprehension. And in this case, it kind of focuses on this group of people. They're called librarians, but they are they're experts in this library that is not quite of our reality and of topics that are not quite of our knowledge. And so they're kind of otherworldly. They were at one point regular people, but they are no longer. And they have interesting attitudes about like regular humans and just the way that the world works. And so there's a plot. The plot is basically comes into play where there's like a possible god who they all call father who goes missing, and all these librarians with a different set of skills, kind of like superpowers, have to kind of come together and figure out what's going on. And there's just a whole lot more than what I'm describing, but it's just a really hard book to describe because it's so weird. It's kind of like at a crossroads between like almost like a Lovecrafty story with like American Gods from Neil Gaiman. It's hard to describe, but it's really interesting right now. And I'm listening to the audiobook. Hillary Huber is the narrator, and she's done the T. Kingfisher books on audio as well. And I really like her narration. So if you are an audiobook fan, I would recommend it. If you're just a fan of like weird fantasy, weird horror, weird fiction, like I would definitely recommend this book. I'm only about 4 chapters in, but I'm really engaged and really enjoying it right now. So The Library at Mount Char by Scott Hawkins. That is my recommendation.
Nice.
Thank you, Khalid.
Yeah. Nikki, what the fandom with you?
So I'm going to do another book. It's going to be the two. The Praskas are going to do books, and Khalid's going to just. Oh, we really want to watch the Weird Al movie. Anyway, so
I'm a man of the people. I know my specific fans can't read.
We haven't really started like a new show. Joe just sent me one today. Maybe we'll talk about. No, he said you already did it as a what the fandom. Anyway, whatever. Mine is a book called The Dawn Hounds. It's a debut novel by the author, which is I hope I pronounced this right, Sasha Stronach. I believe they're from New Zealand. Because it's a Maori-inspired fantasy. And I'm only, maybe a third of the way into the book, but there's a lot of cool world building in this. There's like kind of like biotech happening at all like levels of life, like in building an infrastructure and in weaponry and in like clothing and health and all this other stuff. And what I mean by that, like the description on the book says the port city of Hynek is alive. And so that's what I mean like by biotech, is that there's like a living aspect to like a lot of normally inanimate objects. Somehow they fused some sort of, they don't really get into the technology. It's just sort of like there as part of the world. But that's been a really cool, interesting aspect to it as far as the atmosphere. It's about this reformed thief who's become a cop now in the city. And basically she gets murdered after she kind of stumbles across a dead body, and actually 2 fellow officers murder her and dump her into the harbor. But unfortunately for them, she wakes up and has kind of these like mysterious powers where she can like sort of detect life force in others. So it's really interesting. That's about as far as I've gotten. So anyway, if it's also very queer. Apparently, it's got a label of being queer. I think she's the main character. Her name is, well, she's called Yat. Y-A-T. She is a queer person. So anyway, queer, fantasy, mystery, cool world building. Check it out. The Dawn Hounds.
Nice.
Awesome.
Well,
I will say, I think it might be it might end up, being a series because it says book 1. So I guess there might be more planned. So, but
it's pretty new, right? It just came out like last year or this year? I think it was last year. Yeah.
2022, actually.
Oh, this year. Yeah. So pretty fresh. Yeah.
He's very fresh.
Anyway. Yeah. Good recommendations. I love it.
Yeah. Joe, do you have anything else?
No, nothing much to add. I would just say that thanks for listening, everyone. And if you haven't, check out our social pages at Frankenpod. And it's a Franken podcast, right? What's our Twitter handle? I don't remember. It's in the show notes. Go look there. I'm bad at this, but I would say that our poor little reviews and ratings are looking sad. We haven't had any new ones for a while. So if you're feeling nice and feeling friendly and feeling kind, drop us that 5 stars. Leave us a nice review. And in your review, I think what we'd like to see is share your favorite monster movie. We want to hear from people who listen to this, like what monster movies do you like and what's kind of stuff you'd like to see us cover. So if you leave a review, share your favorite monster or share a monster you'd love to see us cover on the show.
Yeah, we'll definitely take recommendations if they're good. Honestly, even if they're bad, like we got time. We would love to hear from you, and obviously any 5-star reviews would be greatly appreciated, and we appreciate you guys listening. And yeah, as always, until next time, creep it easy.